Once upon a time, these mysterious islands changed our understanding of the natural world forever. It's a place with lunar landscapes, hidden depths, and where unique and curious creatures roam.
Turtles over here, sharks over there, tortoises over there, bluefin the boobies back there. It's a crazy and wonderful fantasy place.
The Galapagos.
I love it.
2 years ago, marine biologist Monty Halls came here with his wife Tam and his daughters Molly and Isla to see the challenges these islands were facing.
I feel really helpless. I don't really know what I can do.
Since then, concern for the planet has become a global phenomenon, rallying old and young. And the birthplace of evolutionary theory now faces a fight for survival.
Bye-bye giant tortoises, bye-bye turtles, bye-bye nesting birds, forever.
Monty and the family are back.
Look at that! How big was that stingray?
Bigger than me.
To discover what's changed.
We could potentially be creating a misbalance.
Work with conservationists, protecting the archipelago.
The idea is to catch it, check the wound, and then let it go again.
And learn how these tiny fantasy islands could inspire real solutions for the whole planet.
If I can do anything to help protect these creatures, I would do it.
When Charles Darwin first visited these islands, he wrote of the Galapagos, "It seems to be a little world within itself." And after almost 2 months on Isabella, the Halls family have found a favorite spot that encapsulates some of that magic little world.
This particular corner of Isabella, it's all going on. So you've got the mangroves, you've got iguanas, marine iguanas crossing from one lava flow to another, as they would have been doing for about 1 million years or so. And people being here are certainly ain't going to stop them. You've got brown pelicans coming in. You could spend 6 months here and it'd never be dull.
And though the animals are important, they are totally dependent on the native plant species that live in the Galapagos. Over 600 of them.
Every single one of them will have an animal that relies on them, or, you know, it's part of their diet, or they use it as a nesting habitat. So it's crucial that the plants, as well as the animals, are protected.
So scientists here are making cutting-edge discoveries about the animals and the plants against the ravages of invasive species and human development, and working to protect and even rebuild entire ecosystems. One of the most iconic island plants comes with a particularly thorny issue. The opuntia, or prickly pear, should flourish across the arid areas of the islands, providing nesting habitats for birds as well as food for iguanas and giant tortoise. But it's struggling.
The natural habitats for them have been destroyed for building work, for towns, for people to live here, basically.
On some islands, 85% of the cacti have been wiped out by people and invasive animals like rats and goats. So the Galapagos Verde project at the Charles Darwin Research Station is working to replant them.
What's in here? Oh, hello.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Hello.
Esme.
Esme Plunkett is a research assistant.
There's 22 different endemic species in Galapagos, and we work principally on 4 islands with them. So what we do is we take poo, actually.
Wow, the girls will like that.
We take excrements from iguanas and tortoises, and we dry it all out and pick the seeds out of here, and then replant them. These ones here are 4 years old. How old are you?
5.
5. Do you remember when you were 4?
Yeah, you do.
Well, that's how old this cactus is here, 4 years old.
Gosh, so they do grow really slowly. I
Yeah,
thought
so
they'd
we
be
have to grow them
faster
here
growing.
first of all, and then we take them back to their original islands.
To get an idea of what the cacti landscape looked like before people arrived, and what the team are aiming to rebuild, they've created a virtual reality experience.
I'm on a beach with a cactus in front of me. Wow, that's big.
What, can you see moles?
I see great tortoise.
You can see a giant tortoise? No.
Because when you try and explain the process of ecological restoration to a 5 or a 7-year-old, it's a bit over
That's
the
so
head.
true.
But by
That's so
using
true.
things like this,
Yeah.
it makes it a bit more real.
This is actually quite good.
The cacti are just one of the plants the team are working with. This is part of a huge project to make the Galapagos green again by 2050.
So we saw the life of a cactus. And that inspired me not to be a cactus scientist, but to be a cactus. Maybe I'll paint myself green and then just stand there, be a cactus. I forgot I was here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's the idea. Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye, no
Thank you,
worries.
thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it.
The plants and the habitat, so it just absolutely as important as the wildlife over here. That's absolutely key for both areas to be protected because they rely on each other 100%.
Gonna try Darwin. Hello? Can you hear me?
It's estimated that since Darwin left these shores, over 7,000 scientific studies have taken place here. And the uniqueness of these islands means they are still making cutting-edge finds. Today's mission is reaching new hidden depths of discovery and risk.
This will be the deepest exploratory dive that's been done in the Galapagos, and it's potentially to find an entirely new species. So this is genuinely exciting stuff.
Izzy Morganti is the field assistant.
It's been months in the planning. It's all building up to just one dive.
All of this is just around sort of 1 hour in the water.
1 hour in the water
Yeah.
with all of this gear. Yeah, it's a big plan.
For this mission, they need to dive 55 meters down, which is dangerously deep. Deep divers use specialist gas mixes for safety, but those aren't available in Galapagos. So the team will use standard compressed air, which ups the issues.
Because the divers are going deep and they're going to be down there for a while, if they went straight to the surface, they'd get the bends. So that what they have to do is come up very slowly.
The bends, also known as decompression sickness, is caused when gas bubbles form in the bloodstream. It can be fatal, but coming up slowly in big, cold currents is problematic too.
This ain't no ordinary dive. It's a really precise kind of military operation to make sure that 3 divers go over the side and 3 divers come back.
The team are tackling this mission to learn about a previously undiscovered ecosystem and what could be a new species of kelp.
It's really unusual to be involved in something that is genuinely pioneering, that is a real first.
Kelp is an ecosystem engineer, creating forests that provide food, habitats, and nurseries for countless species.
They are the rainforests of the sea. They're incredibly productive. The fastest growing plant in the world.
It's normally found in cold, shallow water, far from the equator. Discovering it here in deep tropical water is like finding a polar bear in the Serengeti.
When you find a new kelp forest, that's the reason it's so exciting. That's the reason everyone gets worked up about it. But to find one here, that is particularly special.
The kelp bed is an hour away from Santa Cruz on a deep underwater mountain called the St. Louis Seamount. A year ago, the team was studying mounts around the islands. And on their last day, they discovered the kelp by accident. Marine ecologist Salome Buglas was surveying with a remote-controlled underwater camera, like the one she's using today to locate the dive site.
Today we're going to collect data that is going to tell us why this ecosystem is here. It's going to tell us how it exists here, what temperatures does it like, what's the water quality, who's co-living with it. Maybe we'll find different species that are down here, and we'll be able to describe this for the first time.
I think I see kelp.
You see kelp?
I think so. Yep. We've got kelp.
You plainly got to have a bit of an eye for this.
Wow.
Because Izzy was like, I see kelp. I couldn't see anything.
As well as concerns about deep diving on compressed air, there are worries about currents. Deep water currents here are immensely strong, so a shot line is dropped to guide the team to the seamount. For safety, Monty is on hand.
That's the surface of the sea right there. Now the team are going to deploy down this line to the bottom. The team needs someone acting as a safety diver, essentially. That'll be me. So I'll be hanging on the line about here. What I can also do is when they start ascending, I can grab some samples off them and get them to the surface.
You good?
Yeah.
With everything set, there's an unexpected change in conditions.
We've just noticed the current has suddenly picked up. If you look at the buoy's being dragged under the water. So suddenly it's quite time dependent. We need to get in, we need to do this now. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Go!
55 meters below is a new ecosystem that could change our view of the oceans forever. But if anything goes wrong, help from the mainland is many miles away. And conditions are changing fast concerning expedition leader Salome Bouglas.
Captain says that we've got currents of 1.6 knots, which is quite fast for our divers. I'm worried about safety. As long as everyone comes back safe, then we're good.
If they can reach the kelp 55 meters down, the divers will have only minutes to gather samples.
We try not to do dangerous stuff, but we're pushing the boundaries in terms of what has been done before, diving-wise, for science. But if it all works out, it's going to be really worth it.
Deep down in the blue, the kelp bed looms into view for the divers. It's much, much larger than they expected. The challenge now is to battle the strong currents and gather samples from this remote underworld. Salome thinks the kelp is growing because of the cold Galapagos currents and good nutrients, so there may be more unknown beds here and around the world. In the midst of climate change, kelp beds like these are vital habitats and crucial nurseries for the future of our marine life. Finding and preserving them could help the longevity of our oceans.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo!
Salome has been hoping and planning for this all year.
They look pretty young.
Saw them go down the line. It was like watching astronauts heading into a lunar landscape. They look like pioneers, you know, it's the most fantastic view.
Outstanding.
It looks likely that this type of kelp is a new species. Genetic testing will tell for sure. But the team's discovery of a new ecosystem is yet another first for these groundbreaking islands. Back at home, Isla and Molly are busy packing.
So beautiful. Everywhere I go, I take jingles. Come on, I know it can close. Oh, come on. Yes! Closed it! No!
Monty and the girls are heading to the island of Floriana with a mission. The sailors and whaling ships that visited the Galapagos around the 1800s were often at sea for years at a time, and getting news home was a rare luxury.
Layla, Hannah, Pippa. Oh, that's Daddy's. Blank.
Floriana was a regular stopping-off point, and it's home to a historic landmark.
Here we are at Post Office Bay.
Just off the beach, an old whaling barrel was set up, the first Galapagos postbox. Sailors would leave their letters or messages and pick up any that they could deliver on their route. Now tourists have continued the tradition.
Look at all these. What you do is you find some postcards that want to be sent to England, and we put ours in here. And then the next group of people along will find ours and post them when they get to England.
Vancouver.
Canada.
Canada. New Jersey.
New Jersey. You even got the accent right.
Germany.
Germany.
China. London.
London. Perfect. You can post that one as well. Moles, you're going to post that one when we get to England. OK, you ready, Moles? Pop them in.
Just when we were leaving, this is very lucky, some tourists came and they were English. So they would take our cards back to the United Kingdom. Yay!
While some visitors used Floriana as a stopping point, others stayed. It was the first island settled in the archipelago. But all those visitors and colonists didn't just bring letters. They cleared land and brought animals like rats, cats, dogs and goats, which decimated some native wildlife to extinction. But there is hope. Just 6 miles off the east coast of Floriana is a small rocky islet called Gardner. Under half a mile square and surrounded on all sides by steep cliff face, neither people nor the invasive animals they brought with them settled here. Tam is about to try and scramble ashore.
We've just looked at how we actually get onto the island, and there's a little white section there that basically we have to ascend, which looks a little bit precarious and maybe a little bit dangerous. It's going to be a bit of a challenge.
She's here because amidst the pristine prickly pear landscape live seabirds, sea lions, and some of the animals made extinct on Floriana, including a tiny population of Floriana mockingbirds.
When people think of mockingbirds, they don't think that they're endangered or being critically endangered. I don't think many of us understand the significance of the bird itself because it's so inconspicuous. It's this little brown, mottled little bird that scurries around on the floor.
Yet these unique mockingbirds were key to Darwin's discoveries, and he reported how widespread they were on Floriana. Now there's around 300 individuals living here, and a smaller band on the nearby islet of Champion. PhD student Enzo Rodriguez-Reyes and his field assistant Michelle Roper are working to change all that. Twice a year, they're allowed to spend 10 days camping on this protected reserve to monitor and ring these critically endangered birds.
He's an adult. Plumage. Looks really good.
Mockingbirds like to nest and feed on the iconic prickly pear, and they live in close-knit groups. Enzo is studying them partly to work out what they'd need for a successful reintroduction to Floriana.
9.2.
Tam has special permission to join the team, if she can scale the volcanic cliff face to Enzo's camp.
It's scary. So when we're down, we've still got a fair way to go.
I will never, ever forget trying to get onto gardener, it was really, really difficult to get on, to clamber up, to climb over the guano, the sea lion poo, through bird life, and to finally trek our way up to the plateau at the top.
The island's steep sides may have saved the mockingbird, but it seems studying them up here is a labor of love.
What? Can you hear some around here?
There are men and women all around the world that are putting themselves in these hugely kind of challenging areas, in places that nobody else is allowed to go or nobody would necessarily want to go, to try and help protect and preserve species that are in real danger.
Why are the mockingbirds here so significant?
Because it was the bird that inspired Charles Darwin's theories about evolution and speciation. Darwin noticed the difference in the beak between Floriana mockingbird and I think it's a San Cristobal mockingbird. And people think that finches inspired Darwin to the evolution, but it's not. In fact, it was the Floriana mockingbird. And that is why this bird is so important for the historic of the biology.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I didn't know that. I thought it was finches. I did not know until coming here that it was actually the mockingbird. Is there anything specific about the actual bird itself that really fascinates you?
It's because it's rare. There is just 300 individuals, so it's just nothing. It's nothing. If we don't act now, we're gonna lose it forever.
Do you feel positive? Are you positive that this is going to work?
Yes, I'm so positive. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like in the middle of nowhere trying to collect data.
Floriana mockingbirds have no predators here, and they're curious and fearless towards visitors. So throwing pebbles lures them towards the traps.
Oh, you got it.
You got it! Oh my God, cool mockingbird.
Oops.
I really didn't think he was going to go in, and then he was just like, oh, just pop right in. The tiny pliers that they have to use to fit the rings around their legs. So delicate.
Tam isn't allowed to touch the birds, but she can help with the vital job of ringing them.
Okay.
This is such a privilege to do this. Oh God, I'm scared.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Press gently. Here we go.
Wow. Thank you, little bird. Wow, thank you.
97 over 96. It's yours. Okay.
Ecological.
Which one?
Ecological.
I just find it quite moving.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
There's so few of them. I'm just so privileged to be able to be here and do this. And just do one tiny ring, but it's one tiny ring that, hopefully may, help support this population in the future and reintroduce it back into Floriana. And this is just one species that's in trouble, and there's so many other species around the world, but we're losing it every day.
Next year, I was just gonna let you know how this guy's going.
That would be amazing. I'd love to know. Make sure.
Good to go?
Yes. Okay. Off you go. Good luck.
Monty Halls and his family have spent the last 2 months living on the island of Isabella in the Galapagos. Since they arrived, they've been keeping a record of their adventures, the wildlife they've seen, and the conservation projects they've taken part in.
All around the islands, people paint the walls. And it's really nice. It's a celebration of the local environment. It's an expression of whoever lives in a particular house, the way they feel about the local environment. So from the off, we decided to paint this amazing wall. And it's just turned into this wonderful sort of visual diary of our time here. And Isla's done a poem.
From Isla's small land animals to Molly's big seabirds, the whole of Galapagos is on this wall, so shush or they cannot be heard.
So this is the final touch, the last bit.
Please tell me I don't look like that.
Well done, Moles. Now remember, lovely curls, because you've got lovely curls. That is perfect, Moles. That's uncanny. Any semblance of accuracy is irrelevant.
But the wildlife that has enchanted the family is vulnerable. And on the island of Floriana, more animals have been lost than on any other in the archipelago. 12 native species, including the mockingbird, are extinct on their shores, and 55 are under threat. Though some of the invasive culprits have been eradicated, like goats, the 150 or so people who live here are still fighting a major invader.
How are you? Good to see you. This is Isla.
Farmer Claudio Cruz is descended from one of the first pioneer families on Floriana. 3 days ago, he welcomed some new arrivals.
Ah, moles! How wonderful. That's about an 11 on the cute scale.
My pink one got used to me quite easily, and Molly was like, wee, 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 wee.
How wonderful. They've made my day.
Most of the Floriana residents are farmers, carving their livelihoods from this remote land. But their future is plagued by animals who arrived on early ships. Rats.
Muchos problemas. Todos los años, veneno, veneno para poder controlar y poder cosechar un poco de lo que se siembra, ¿no? Porque maíz, yuca, papaya, caña, si no controlas, es finito con las ratas.
So no control, the rats, everything.
Totalmente.
So with expert conservationists, charities, the national park and islanders, a complex and long-term plan has been devised. They are testing out poisons, finding one that can kill the rats without harming other species, and then hope to apply it systematically right across the island.
Es un proyecto muy ambicioso, muy grande, porque es en toda la isla. Entonces, por eso tenemos que tener los animales bajo control, protegidos, en establos, gallineros, poder regar el veneno con drones o helicópteros, ¿no? Porque son toneladas de veneno en toda la isla.
And Claudia, do you feel optimistic that it will work?
Yo siempre he estado de acuerdo, sinceramente, con el proyecto. Una vez que si logramos finito las ratas, todas las especies van a crecer porque no va a haber depredadores.
It's a drastic solution and treads a narrow path between the needs of native wildlife and the needs of people.
Think of a farmer in England. It's like saying to that farmer, right, on your farm, we want you all to put everything in a barn and we're going to poison your entire farm. How would that farmer react? Claudia's taken a huge gamble. It's his livelihood that he's putting on the line to try and eradicate Floriana of invasive species.
And yet, without that action, Claudio will continue to lose his livelihood and the chance to see species he grew up with. Trying to rebuild and preserve the delicate ecosystems is incredibly challenging. On Isabella, islanders are incorporating traditional solutions to keep invaders under control.
This is about as far removed from a tourist experience as it's possible to be. It's crack of dawn, 6 a.m. I'm about to head into the cloud forest with a group of local men.
Friend and guide Pablo Valadares is here for inside knowledge.
That mule over there,
yeah.
Watch out, it could be nervous and could kick.
Right. And this is my horse for the day. I'm just going to introduce myself.
You can name him if you want.
Okay, Buttercup. This is Buttercup.
Luis Vega is leading what will be a lengthy mission.
We have maybe more or less 6 hours in the horse.
6 hours?
6 hours.
Wow. 6 hours will double the amount of time I have ever been on a horse.
It's not Monty's only worry. This expedition will head high into the cloud forest of Isabella to hunt invasive feral pigs.
This is a hugely divisive issue, and I've got some quite strong personal thoughts on it. But there are those that say it's got to be done because we're tracking down an invasive species that's having a real impact on the endemic wildlife here.
Pigs originally arrived with settlers, but escaped into the rich, fertile land and went feral. Today they feed in their thousands on the abundant food. Unfortunately, much of that is the local native wildlife.
This isn't just hunting, is it?
Yeah.
This is important work in terms of getting rid of a very destructive presence here with the pigs.
Oh, absolutely. The pigs are awful. They do destroy the giant tortoises' nests.
Yeah.
They will destroy even the sea turtles' nests and will get all of the eggs.
Pigs are incredibly adaptable, so they can thrive digging turtle eggs on the beach and up in the cloud forest, decimating tortoise nests, birds and reptiles. They are, though, also eating bullish invasive plants.
It looks like we're in an ancient Galapagos forest, but actually most of this is guava. And guava is an invasive species brought in because of the fruit, obviously, and it's totally dominating this landscape now. And the scalaceous forests that were here have been almost eradicated.
After decades of roaming wild, feral pigs are also wary of humans, adept at hiding in the dense bush, and very fast.
We're going to go back that way. The dogs are not finding anything in this area.
The hunters, accompanied by a saddle-sore Monty, are in contrast very slow.
Monty, I think that it's necessary to split.
We just let the hunters go.
We allow them to go. Yeah, these guys are going to move faster than us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can literally think of nothing wrong with that plan.
Perfect.
That is a good plan. All right.
While hunting dogs are helping to sniff out feral pigs in the highlands, in town, domestic dogs are causing problems. As resident numbers increase on Isabella, so too do pet dogs, and despite laws about keeping dogs on leads and off beaches, there's an increase in pets running free around the town.
There's hundreds of them around. 2 years ago, didn't see any of them really. Saw a few, they were all on leads. And now there's masses of them, and apparently there's a lot of dogs being brought in for people to own. That, I think, could lead to real problems in the future.
Stray dogs and cats prey on baby lizards, small birds, tortoises, and even penguins. Left alone, the problem is getting worse.
This is the pop-up vets.
There's no small animal vet on Isabella, but 3 times a year, volunteer vets come to run neutering clinics.
We've got a dog.
It's a really important place, actually, because they bring dogs here to be neutered, so they don't have any more puppies on the island.
Vet Ben Howitt and the team are funded by an international animal charity, working with local authorities across the islands.
The numbers that you seem to be processing today is huge. How many would you kind of do in one day?
Ideally, I'd like between 30 and 40 animals in a day if we can. The last campaign was here in March. We did 78 animals in the 3 days. Ideally, to try and keep a stable population of dogs and cats, 70% need to be neutered.
It's still early days on Isabella, but the makeshift operating theatre works like a factory line.
See, on the operating table, Ben is operating on a dog to make sure that she or he can't have puppies. Look, he's stitching the wound. So that dog's been opened up a little bit, had the bits removed, and now they're sewing the skin together again.
So this is the bag he used to help them breathe?
Yeah, if they stop breathing. But he's breathing on his own just fine.
Seeing a dog having a real operation is quite a, well, first-time experience for me. We met lots of friendly dogs. Thousands. This one has just had her operation, and her name is Katniss.
I was really proud of both of them today. It was really lovely to see how much they care about animals.
After they've come out from operation, they feel a bit drowsy and take a bit of time to wake up.
Which is something that is, for me, it's hugely important. You know, if you have that empathy at a young age, then that's fantastic, and hopefully you will, you know, use that throughout your entire adult life and as you grow up.
On Isabella's Sierra Negra volcano, Monty and Pablo are searching for feral pigs, an invasive animal that's destroying the landscape and the local wildlife.
Let's lay it clearly on the line. What is going on with these invasive species? They're competing for very limited resources with native animals. They dig up plants, they destroy native plant species. The pigs are eating tortoise eggs. They move down onto the beaches here and they eat turtle eggs.
It's estimated there are thousands of pigs on Isabella. With such thick undergrowth, it's hard to tell exact numbers. What is clear is where they've been.
Well done, dog. He knows that pigs have been there. They have opened up the vegetation area.
It's a little glimpse, isn't it, just how destructive they are and the impact they're having on the ground here.
But there is a glimmer of hope. 20 years ago, this area was full of feral pigs. And in a remote island where food has to be shipped in, pigs can be a resource.
The hunting has worked.
Yeah, it is working, has been working. And also, it's good for the local economy as well. Somehow people can make some business and money. The hamburgers that you can go and eat at one of the local restaurants are made with beef, because we also have feral cattle in the area. Or fritada as well, this fried pork with fat, 100% organic.
Maybe it's the only place in the world, Pablo, that you can order a beef burger and know it's good for the environment.
Good for conservation.
Good for conservation, yeah.
As darkness falls, the hunters are still out on the hills.
I was a bit conflicted about this whole process at the start of the day, to be honest. I really like pigs, and I don't like hunting. But seeing the impact that pigs are having on this landscape and the endemic animals that live in the Galapagos, you suddenly realise the value of what's going on here. Just seen head torches on the horizon, which means the hunting party is on its way back in.
They've tracked and killed 2 wild pigs, a large adult boar and a youngster.
Monty, look at this, how sharp these tusks are. They are like a razor sharp. You feel it? Down here, down here.
It's like a razor blade. Having clapped eyes on it now, it doesn't look like any domestic pig I've ever seen. It's a really impressive and quite a frightening looking animal, actually, and one of the dogs has picked up a bit of a wound from it.
And one thing that's very obvious after today is this is not sport, it's not recreation. And that pig will now be meat for restaurants, for families. It's a bit unpleasant, it's a bit gruesome, but it's reality. It's reality of conservation at the sharp end in the Galapagos.
Down in Isabella's only town, Puerto Villamil, a new wave of conservation is just starting to take shape in schools. Today, Isla, Molly and Tam are joining the class, and group leader Ernesto Bustamante.
Today we're going to go to the wetland complex, which is located at the end of the long beach of Puerto Villamil. We're going to see different animals, so we're going to identify animals and plants, and we're going to understand what are their functions related to the ecosystems. And at the end, we're going to have like a moment for everybody to go to swimming in a nice place.
Isla, we're going on the bus.
It's not a normal day.
The back's where the cool kids sit.
This is a brand new initiative across the islands.
Very exciting. Just don't fall out.
Set up by the Charles Darwin Research Station, marine mornings take children from 5 to 14 outside for a range of activities to learn about their wild home.
You cannot learn only by books. You need to be there to really understand about ecosystems, about energy, about dynamics, about fauna, flora. So if you're not really here, you maybe are not going to understand exactly how important it is.
Many local families struggle to visit wilder areas because it's expensive, and environmental education hasn't been taught in school until now.
Chicos, ¿para qué sirve el cactus? Alimenta tortugas, muy bien.
In this first year, Ernesto and volunteer colleague Carla Zambrano have taught 500 Isabella school children, which is almost everyone.
Sites like this, they won't forget. The kids here won't forget doing this. I remember school trips that I went on as a child. It's those unique moments that really matter when you're growing up.
Giving the next generation the opportunity to learn about and love these islands will help them and their home.
These kind of places depend totally on them. If at this young age they understand the responsibility that they have, they are gonna feel that they have something to fight for and that they have a place here. And humans can live in places like this if they understand that they have to protect them.
In Puerto Villamil, the family is nearing the end of their stay on the Galapagos.
Lots of people have been so hospitable to us and have shown us their islands. So it was sort of be really nice to have a cook-up as we get right to the end of our time here and just say thanks to everyone.
They've invited local legend Betsy to cook a traditional frittata. Pablo, Laura and Kian are here, with more friends and their families.
In particular, Pablo and Laura, they've been like a lifeline here. They've introduced us to so many more people. They've helped us settle in. Laura's guided me through island living. And it's going to be really sad to say goodbye to them at the end of this evening.
What's been your number one thing? Don't say it too quickly.
Swimming.
Swimming. For me, it was the kelp dive. You'd think, wouldn't you, with all this amazing wildlife and all this incredible stuff, that, you know, a bit of seaweed, but it was amazing.
But I also tagged sharks. Okay, remember to yell at the light. Ready? All right, yell it out. 65.
What did you think of that?
I really loved it. And I also kayaked with penguins.
Probably doing the Mockingbirds.
Wow. Thank you, little bird.
Tastes really, it's really tender, beautifully cooked by Betsy. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. One of the overarching themes of my time in the Galapagos is not just the challenges that are faced here, it's the inspiring individuals who are making a genuine difference, and they've never given up hope. If you give up hope, you give up everything.
And though the clock is ticking, there is more optimism here, because a powerful, passionate generation is coming through too, who will transform the way we live.
And for young people themselves, I'd say to them, don't be daunted, don't be intimidated. You can engineer genuine change, so get out there and get stuck in.
Because the lessons we're learning from these tiny islands can help save our planet for generations to come.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Cheers. Muchas gracias, Messi. Muchas gracias.
Is up, wrap.
Hey!